So friends, we have been discussing about the debt and equity financing. So it works in different directions in good times and bad times. So now we'll take some example. GT sales, I mean good time sales. A company can say it can make a sales of 100 during good time, and during bad times the sales level of the company would come down by say 60% and it will be 40. This can be on account of macroeconomic conditions which is beyond the control of the company, fine. But this company has the capability to make or achieve an operating profit of 30%. So if it is good times, it will be 30% on 100, which will be 30, and if it is bad times, it will be 30% on 40, which will be 12. So now we'll analyze these two conditions, one the good time sales, the other one is bad time sales, in two scenarios. That is, scenario 1 will talk about a particular model of financing where the debt and equity will be in 50-50 range. So I'll give you that also now. In scenario 1, the equity will be 50 and debt will be 50, and it is at the interest of say 10%. And scenario 2, it is going to be slightly different. We'll see at that point. So now this company is in a good time and it also has a bad time, so we'll analyze both. So I'll give that also, so good times and bad times. So in good times, let's say this company is making a sales of 100, the information we have already given, and the bad times it is 40. And I have also given the operating profit. In good times it will be 30% on 100, which will be 30, and in bad times it's going to be 12. So from sales, if you remove the operating profit, you will get the profit available for servicing the interest, right? So we'll provide for interest now. So what is the interest element? Interest element is 10% on 50. So 10% on 50 is going to be 5. So in good times it's going to be 5, and in bad times also it's going to be 5. So this is the most important point in this session. Interest will remain same whether you are in good time or in bad time. So now we'll see what is the profit before tax. In good times it's going to be 100, and you have operating profit which is 30. So from operating profit, remove the interest. 30 minus 5, it is 25, and in bad times it is 12 minus 5, which is 7. Now from this profit you have to pay tax. So let's say tax at 30%, and it's going to be 7.5, I mean 30% on 25, and here let's say it is 2.1. So now you have profit after tax which is 17.5 and 4.9. See, now you compare this profit with the investment made by the owners. So what is the investment made by the equity shareholder? It is 50 in good times as well as 50 in bad times. So what is the return available for them? In good times it is 17.5 on 50, which is 35%, whereas in bad times it is 4.9 on 50, which is 9.8%. So here the return had come down from 35% to 9.8%. So it is close to somewhere like 25% fall. But this fall, I would say this fall is something manageable, because it was not as drastic as 100%, or it is not negative. It is not negative. This had happened because of the equity, or say the funding structure, which was 50-50%. Now this funding structure, had it been different, it would have created some other effect, and that's what we are going to see in next slide. And we know the operating profits are 30 and 12, so we'll start with that. So I'm going to give you scenario 2. In scenario 2, the same 100 is the total requirement, whereas the equity contribution is 15 and the loan component is 85, and interest is same 10%. So we'll give here the particulars, good times and bad times, right? We know the operating profit during good times is 30 and bad times is 12. We'll provide that here. Okay, now we'll work on the interest on loan, because from operating profit we'll pay interest, and loan amount is 85, interest is 10%. So interest at 10% is 8.5 in good times, and in bad times also it is 8.5. So you will have profit before tax, which is 30 minus 8.5, say 21.5, and here it is 12 minus 8.5, which is 3.5. So from this profit before tax, we have to pay tax at 30%, and say it works out to 6.45 and 1.05. So now you have profit after tax, which is 15.05 and 2.45. So this is the profit which is available for the owners. And what is the investment made by the owner in this scenario? Equity in good times is 15 and in bad times also it is 15. So what is the return available for them? Here comes the difference. The return available for the owner is 100.33% in good times and 16.33% in bad times. Here the fall is very steep. From 100%, the return falls at least by say 83 to 84%, unlike scenario 1 where the fall was only 25%. Why did this happen? It happens because of structuring decisions, capital structuring decisions. Here the equity component was less and loan component was very high. So because of that, the return was very good in good times, is it not? In good times, in scenario 1, the return available for equity shareholders was close to 35%, whereas here it is close to 100. But in bad times, the fall is also very steep. So let us summarize that. What happened in scenario 1 and scenario 2? In scenario 1, the debt and equity component was 50-50, whereas in scenario 2, the debt and equity component was 85 and 15. So what happened because of this? In good times and bad times, the return on equity in good times in scenario 1 was 35%, and in bad times it was 9.8%, whereas in scenario 2 the return on equity for the same level of investment is 100%, whereas in bad times it is 16.33%. Now if you compare the return on equity in scenario 2, the fall is very heavy. From 100% it has gone down to 16.33%, and there is a steep fall, and this steep fall is on account of leverage. So if the debt component is high and the equity component is low, it will give high return in good times and return will be low in bad times, but the fall will be very steep and it will become unpredictable. And if you compare these two returns, I mean return on equity in good times when the capital structure was 50-50 and when it is 85 and 15, there is a difference. In good times at 50-50 it was 35%, whereas 85-15 it was 100%. That is also on account of leverage. So the leverage would give you best returns in good times and it would give you very worst returns in bad times. So we should understand in what time we are now, whether we are in good time or we are in bad time. If we are in bad time, then we have to change the capital structuring, and if we are in good time, we have to optimize the capital structuring. Thank you.